Guys, I wanted to make a video on regrouping mixed numbers. So this is actually a lot like regrouping whole numbers. You both stack them, and it's always better. Now with adding, it doesn't truly matter, but it does help. Always putting a bigger number on top and a smaller number on the bottom. And so a lot like that, you will also regroup. Now, one thing about mixed numbers, like whenever you borrow, because again, for subtracting, there's always an extra step, and that's where you borrow, or you could say even now they call it regroup. So that's that step. Now, another thing you need to remember, let's see. So it's like you're going to carry a whole still. But it might look confusing, but I'm going to just... So instead of carrying a 10, you carry a whole. Let me add this one little step. Now there's a very big key difference here. Whenever you are regrouping, you're with addition, you're going to subtract a whole. Whoever the captain is, the denominators are always our captains in 4th grade because they stay the same. And then they just set the tone. So our captain, whoever the captain is, in this case, we have Captain 4, who's going to be guarding the army here. Now, we look here, but whenever you are subtracting with regrouping, you are actually going to add a whole. And by a whole, I mean a whole fraction with the same number on top and bottom. And the difference here, you add at the beginning, and here you subtract at the end to get your answer. So these are still basically like opposites because, in the way they are, but they still need each other. Anyways, let's go ahead and dive right in here. And I want you to think about this. With these kind of fractions, it's almost like you got to watch them because they aren't totally able to be trusted. The reason why I say you can't trust them is because these fractions are not who they say they are. These not fractions, these mixed numbers. For example, this person is saying their first name's 6, last name's 4. So really, they should be 10. That's what they should look like. And over here, if they're subtracting, he says my first name is 6, my last name's 4. But if we subtract, I should be 2. Emphasis on should. So when you see answer choices, because like this, they're saying you trust that whole number, you trust them. You know, okay, well 6 plus 4 is 10. And here you'll say, oh, 6 minus 4 is 2. Not just yet. So step 1 for them both is always stack it with the bigger number on top, smaller on the bottom. And so when I stack it, I can clearly see here, and I'm going to go ahead and work it out for the adding. Whole to whole, fraction to fraction. Now, just by looking, you should say, okay, 6 plus 4, but here's the thing. 3 plus 2 and the denominator is 4. We already know 3 plus 2 is 5. That's where regrouping is coming in. So this is 10 and 5/4. Now we can't leave it like that. So we're going to subtract the whole. And our captain is 4, which means we got to use the whole 4 over 4 based off your denominator, right? And then I go ahead and subtract. and 5 minus 4 is 1. The denominator stays the same. And I add this whole now. Now I'm going to add this whole to it. So I pull out a whole and I add it. So I add the whole fraction to here. And so now, so I'm just taking this out. It's going to end up being 11 and 1/4. So you pull that whole, subtract that whole out, and then stick it over there. So pull it and add it. Because it's not a fraction anymore. 4 divided by 4 is really equal to 1 whole, which is 1. And so then you just stick that 1 over here. Now let's go ahead and look at this person right here subtracting. So they say 6 minus 4 is 2, but I can't even subtract at all. I can't do whole, fraction yet. And the red flag is because 1 cannot subtract from 3. So now I need to use my captain. And this captain in this case will add a whole fraction. And since my denominator is 4, I already know I'm adding 4 over 4. If it was denominator of 5, I would add 5 over 5. So that's why I say the captain's in charge, because look at that whole number. The denominator tells you what whole you're going to use because the denominator has to be the same. So I'm going to add a whole, borrow a whole, so I'm taking from the larger number. So step 1, stack it. Step 2, take from the larger number. So that 6 is a 5 now. Because I'm going to take a whole and add it to myself. And so now 1 plus 4 is 5. The denominator stays the same. And now I can actually subtract because 5 can subtract from 3. 5 minus 3 is 2. The denominator stays the same. And 5 minus 4 is 1. And also know that you can also shrink this. This is still equivalent to 1/2. So I can shrink this to 1.5. So I'll give another one for practice. And I want you to get the gist of it. So I'm just going to say I'm going to subtract 7 and 1/9 minus 3 and 6/9. Nope, wait, okay. Let me make that adding. Let me make that a 4. Yeah, that's going to work. Because the goal is to regroup. And let's say, now you might see a normal problem. Like if I saw 7 and 2/9 plus 5 and 3/9. Well, those are really easy questions that you might see on the state test, because I already know if I were to stack it, 2 plus 3 is 5. The denominator stays the same, and 7 plus 5 is 12. Those are the kind that you want. Or if I saw 7 and 4/9 minus 3 and 2/9. Again, this is very easy because now I can take what this is saying for face value. I don't have to figure anything out. All I got to do is just do the math basics. And 4 minus 2 is 2. My denominator stays the same, and 7 minus 3 is 4. Those are the questions that you're going to love on the state test. But you might have a couple that, like what is the title of this video, regrouping. So step 1, is stack it. That's for both. Now I'll go ahead and do subtraction because we do a little saying in class. We say step 1, stack it with the bigger number on top, smaller on the bottom. Step 2, take from the larger number. Because on the state test, you can kind of look at the whole and figure it out. I already know just by looking at that 1 cannot subtract from that 3. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and borrow. Take from the larger number. So by default, let's say on the state test, you saw an answer choice that had 1. So A might have said 1 and something something. B said 2 and something something. And C and something something. And so by default, you could have did eliminating, because you should have said, oh, you know what, I know my whole, because 5 minus 4 is going to have to be a 1. So whatever the answer choice is, obviously 1 is your answer. So that whole gives it away a very lot. Now with adding, they know adding is typically easier, so they would give you probably 2 answer choices with the same whole, and you'll just have 2 different fractions. But anyways, I still know I had borrowed a whole, and in this case we have Captain 7, so I need to add 7 over 7, and 1 plus 7 is 8. My denominator is the same. Well, now I can easily subtract. 8 minus 3 is going to be 5. My denominator stays the same, so the answer is 1 and 5/7. Here we'll be adding. I'm going to do whole to whole, fraction to fraction. Let's see. 7 plus 3 is 10, and 4 plus 6 is going to be 10, but the thing about it, that's a 9. So this whole is going to stay here, and the fractions are going to figure this out. They're going to see what they need to do because they're a little bit too top heavy. So I'm going to pull a whole and see if I can do that. Now I will pull a whole, and the whole I can pull is going to be 9 over 9 because, you know, we have to have Captain 9 here. And I already know this is equal to 1, so this is going to be added there. Now, if you go ahead and subtract, because now this whole is gone, right? He left the group. He's with the hoes that he grew up. He's off to college. He's with the big boys now. He's in grown-up school. So now he leaves, and he's not a 10 anymore. He's 11. His fraction, though, what's left of them, 10 minus 9 is 1. And that denominator is still the same. So the answer here is 11 and 1/9. Now, just by looking, I have had students who will select the answer choice that says 10. Because they would forget, they would look at the whole and say, oh, I know it, 7 plus 3 is 10. But here's the thing, it did have 10, but yet at the end of the day, that was an improper fraction there. So you have to remember to pull that whole out, add it to the whole, and then use what's left as your fraction. Here you have to remember to take from the larger number, because I've had students say, and you know, when I was a kid, I might have accidentally said, oh, 6 minus 4 is 2. And no, because you have to borrow a whole. So that doesn't have 6 wholes anymore. Now it's left with 5. And 5 minus 4 is going to be 1. You add that whole. 8 minus 3 is 5. The denominator stays the same. And again, this is it for regrouping mixed numbers. So I hope this helps. Please watch and have a good and blessed